Hey guys, today we will be making cold processed soap, and here I am just melting my hard oils and butters, and now I have taken them off the stove and I will be adding them to the soft oils and mixing them very well to make sure that they are completely incorporated before we add our sea moss to this mix. Here I'm just making sure I get everything into the bowl, and we have to scrape out every little bit out of the bowl just to make sure, because we measure by weight, we got to make sure we get everything in there. And now we mix it really well, make sure all the oils and butters are incorporated very well so that they can mix thoroughly once we add our lye water. Now I'm just continuing to mix these oils to make sure that they are thoroughly mixed well, and then I take the temperature. It's 96.3 degrees, because when we mix it with the lye water, we have to make sure they are both within 10 degrees of one another. Now, as you can see, I've brought my lye water closer and I'm adding my sea moss powder. I'm adding about 2 teaspoons of sea moss into my mix. That was the first one, and then here I am adding the second one in, and then we're going to use the stick blender and make sure that it's thoroughly mixed in with the oils and incorporated before we proceed to adding our lye water. Okay, now we'll be adding in some pink mica. It's a blend I kind of created. It's a light pink and a darker pink, to kind of give a rose kind of color. And then we're gonna use the stick blender to incorporate that into the oil as well. It's so pretty when it starts to mix together. Okay, so now that that's all mixed in, the mica and the sea moss, we're going to take the temperature of both liquids. The lye water is sitting at about 98 degrees and the oil is about 91 degrees, which they're both within 10 degrees of one another. So now we can proceed to pour the lye water into the oils. I use this strainer just to make sure there's no chunks or, large particles of lye that can get into the oils. It's best to pour the lye water on the stick blender so that it can just stream into the oils as to not splash. That way you don't get any lye burns anywhere. We just try to make sure we get all the lye water out of the container, since I measure everything by grams. So I try my best to get everything as best as possible. Once we have poured the lye water into the oils, we can begin emulsifying them and bringing them to a light to medium trace before we pour it. So here I am just mixing them and combining them before I start emulsifying it. And then we can begin mixing it so that they can start coming together. The oils and the lye water can start to bond and create that nice light to medium trace that's needed. So now that we have brought it to a light trace, I'm just mixing it a little bit, and then I will proceed to add in my fragrance oil and a little bit more mica just for some color. And then we will begin mixing again to bring it to just between a light and medium trace. Now you can see that it's getting thicker. Here I think we are about at medium trace. Yeah, we're at a medium trace here. And I'm going to just blend it like a few more spurts, and then we're going to proceed to mix it by hand as to keep it from getting to a heavy trace where it becomes super hard to pour. Yes, now you can see it has that pudding texture, that pudding consistency. That's where we want to be. Some people like light trace. I like it at this trace where that way once I pour it I can texture it right away. But as you can see, we're pouring it into the molds and it goes in pretty easy at this consistency as well, but you can see where it's holding its shape. I dusted the top with some gold mica, added some texture, and put some more gold mica on the top of it. And this is the finished product. It's beautiful in person and it smells lovely. This fragrance I used was rose. It is lovely. But here's the finished product. Hope you like.